What do you do in life when things go wrong? How do you respond to that? Well, we just got some pretty rough news. Welcome to our next adventure. It's the first morning, and we are just about to head out to meet up with our group. Here's the plan for this adventure. We are so excited for this one. We are going to be meeting up with a group. We're going to have a couple guides with us, and we are going to get on some float planes and fly into Denali National Park, where we're going to basically base camp right next to a glacier, the Ruth Glacier, that is about 20 miles from the summit of Mount Denali. We're going to have a few days of just hiking from base camp and exploring and looking at wildlife. Well, before we get going, let me just give you a quick introduction. My name is Joshua Wykes, and I'm an adventure and landscape photographer, and my wife Lavinia and our dog Tilly are living full-time in our converted Sprinter van, traveling all over the US and Canada. We're in Alaska right now. We're spending the summer. We're actually in Anchorage. And the goal of these videos that we're putting out is really just to show what we're getting up to show our adventures, what we're seeing, what we're doing, and really just to showcase the beauty of God's creation. So if you want to follow along, hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video in particular, give it a like. And if you have any questions, leave a comment and I will get back to you. We're gonna go meet the group now, get our gear all sorted, and then head over to the airport to get on our plane. So let's get going. After we got our gear all loaded up, we headed over to the air service where we learned that the weather was not looking good to fly out to Denali and that we needed to wait to see if the weather would break. We spent the next several hours driving around Anchorage and going for some walks. It was a pretty soggy day as we waited. Well, we just got some pretty tough news. The trip that we had planned to go up to Denali and do base camping more or less just got canceled because we can't fly in. The weather has been completely socked in today. The planes can't get us up there. We waited all day to hope the weather would break, and it never did. And so we're not going to be able to do that trip. We're really bummed right now. But the group the company that we're with now, that was going to be guiding us, has put together a contingency plan. And I'll keep you updated on what that's going to look like, but we're hopeful that the next few days will still be exciting and a bit of an adventure. So come along and let's see what we can get up to. Later that evening, we set up camp at a campground in the Matanuska Valley, a couple hours outside of Anchorage. Definitely not the same as camping in the backcountry of Denali National Park. After breakfast at camp, we headed out for our first major hike of the trip, a hike up Gunsight Mountain. This is a 7-mile hike that gained over 3,000 feet in elevation. The hike was pretty strenuous, but the views from the top were incredible. It took us a little over 7 hours with quite a few breaks along the way. God continues to amaze us with the beauty of His creation. Day 3 of our adventure. You know, we're still processing a little bit that this isn't what we were expecting or hoping for, but things are turning out okay. You know, that hike yesterday was spectacular. Oh my goodness, those views. It was pretty hard and pretty strenuous, feeling it this morning, feeling a little sore, but we're looking forward to today. We are going to be doing a trek out to a glacier and going to be spending the day on the glacier. So that's going to be a ton of fun. We're looking forward to it. And yeah, just continuing to just make the most of what we've got.
and I think it's
Later that day, after our time on the glacier, a smaller group of us went for another hike to the Eska Falls. This ended up being an almost 11-mile hike. We really enjoyed the hike to the falls, and the falls were beautiful, but it also proved to be pretty strenuous. On our last day, we drove to Hatcher Pass, which is a very popular and scenic drive in Alaska. We stopped at the Independence Mine and walked around the mine site, learning a lot of fascinating history, and then went for a hike up to an alpine lake. The scenery was spectacular, and it was a pretty good conclusion to our adventure. Well, we are back in Anchorage. The week has come to an end. This is a tough one to sum up. On one hand, it was still a really fun adventure. We did some amazing hikes. The time on the glacier was a very fun and unique experience that we've never really done before. So in a lot of ways, we had a great time. But, on the other hand, this was still a bit of a disappointment. We were bummed. We really were looking forward to doing some backcountry camping in the Denali National Park and being right next to a glacier and just doing some incredible hikes and possibly even getting to see Denali, especially after last week of our efforts failing on that front. But I think the question is what do you do in life when things go wrong, when things don't go as you expect and how you hope, and how do you respond to that? And did we respond the best way? I don't know. I hope we did. But I think this was a good lesson for us. We know traveling on the road, there's going to be many instances where things are going to go wrong. And I think this was just a good reminder that we need to, especially when things are out of our control, like the weather, that we just need to roll with it. So that's it for now. We'll see you on the road next time, and may God bless you.
Chili girl.
And I let her out.
Oh.